Welcome to Daily Crypto, episode 40. You've landed in the deep dive, and today we're plunging into the latest, most impactful stories shaking up the cryptocurrency world. It's been a truly dynamic period full of both expected shifts and some jaw-dropping surprises.
Absolutely. There's just a constant flow of information out there, isn't there?
Yeah.
And our mission is really to distill it down for you, highlight the crucial developments, help you connect the dots without getting lost in all the daily noise.
Yeah, cut through that noise. Okay, let's unpack this then. Bitcoin is currently sitting impressively at $109,877 in dollars. Ethereum is also holding pretty strong, around $2,611.46. But beyond just these numbers, what's really shaping the market sentiment right now?
Well, what's fascinating here isn't just the current price, though that's obviously important. It's the forward-looking perspective, especially from major players. You take an investment firm like Bitwise, for instance. They're making waves predicting Bitcoin will hit $200,000.
200,000. Wow.
Yeah, by the end of 2025. And look, this isn't just a wild guess. It reflects, I think, a deep conviction from established financial types. They see Bitcoin maturing, becoming a legitimate asset class, kind of like digital gold, and they expect more institutions to pile in.
Right, the
Yeah.
digital gold narrative. But here's where it gets really interesting. That same Bitwise report, it offers a more nuanced view, almost a contrasting one, for other big coins. They're suggesting Ethereum and Solana might not update their all-time highs this year. That seems like a pretty significant divergence.
It is. That's a crucial distinction they're making. And it really speaks to how these different assets are viewed. Fundamentally, Bitcoin, like you said, increasingly seen as that store value, a macro asset. But Ethereum and Solana, they're different beasts.
How so?
They're dynamic platforms, right? Lots of ongoing development. They face different competitive pressures, different regulatory hurdles, maybe. Their performance might be tied more closely to the, specific ecosystem growth, DApp adoption, tech upgrades coming down the line. Much more unpredictable, perhaps, than the bigger forces driving Bitcoin.
Okay, that makes sense. And these market dynamics are definitely being influenced by the big money coming in. If we connect this to the bigger picture, we're seeing undeniable institutional activity. It really validates the crypto space, doesn't it?
Indeed. You look at BlackRock, for example. They bought a substantial amount, was it $3.85 billion in Bitcoin recently? But it's not just the dollar figure. That's huge, obviously. But it's the signal. It's a powerful signal to the rest of the financial world that Bitcoin is viable, it's investable.
Paving the way for others, maybe.
Exactly. It could open the floodgates for more cautious institutional capital.
Yeah.
It marks a real shift in perception, in acceptance.
And it's not just direct investments either. It's also about building the infrastructure, deeper integration. There's news of a new U.S. bank backed by billionaires, apparently, specifically designed to fill that crypto void left by the whole Silicon Valley Bank situation.
Right, filling a gap.
And then you've got Ripple actively applying for a national banking license and a FedMaster account. These aren't small things. These are direct pushes for legitimate integration into the traditional financial system. What does a FedMaster account actually do for a crypto company?
Oh, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
A FedMaster account would give Ripple direct access to the Federal Reserve's payment system. Think faster, more direct settlements for their XRP transactions. They could bypass traditional intermediary banks, which dramatically increases efficiency. It just raises this critical point about the accelerating convergence, traditional finance and crypto. It's becoming less about a separate digital world and more about digital assets being an integral part of the existing financial landscape.
Okay, right. So moving beyond the institutional giants and the
Mhm.
sort of foundational coins, let's pivot a bit. Let's talk about the more dynamic, often volatile world of altcoins, especially meme coins. They just keep grabbing attention. Pepe Coin is reportedly eyeing a potential 70% surge, driven by increased whale accumulation. Can you maybe just clarify what whale accumulation means for folks?
Sure, absolutely. Whale accumulation just refers to when these very large influential holders, we call them whales in crypto, are buying up significant amounts of a particular coin. It's generally seen as a bullish sign because these large players, well, they often have deeper insights or maybe just a strong long-term belief. Their buying power can really move the market.
Gotcha. Big fish making waves.
Pretty much. And speaking of meme coins, Dogecoin is also apparently looking at a potential rebound. Some analysis suggests it could target $0.26 if it builds momentum. These movements just highlight the rapid shifts, often driven by sentiment, that are possible in this corner of the market. Social media, community buzz, it all plays a huge role.
And then, well, then you get those headlines that just make you do a double take. The truly unique character of the crypto world, like that story about the Australian crypto billionaire who reportedly escaped a kidnapping attempt by biting off an attacker's finger.
Yeah, that was a wild one.
Or even the reports valuing former President Trump's crypto ventures at over $620 million. It just shows how intertwined these digital assets can become with, well, public figures and their businesses. It's a space that definitely keeps us on our toes, doesn't it?
It certainly does. I mean, these stories, well, maybe just anecdotes, they paint a picture of the unique personalities and sometimes, yeah, the high stakes involved here.
So putting it all together, what does all this mean for you, trying to navigate this space? You've got ambitious price predictions, big institutional investments, signaling maturity, then the volatile but fascinating world of altcoins, and yeah, some truly wild stories. The crypto space is undeniably a hotbed of activity right now.
Absolutely. And the consistent thread, I think, woven through all these different pieces is that accelerating, undeniable integration of digital assets into the broader financial world. And maybe here's a provocative thought for you to chew on. How might the push for yuan-pegged stablecoins, by Chinese giants like JD.com and Ant Group, how might that ultimately impact the global financial power dynamic, especially when you think about the long-standing dominance of dollar-pegged stablecoins? This isn't just about crypto, it's potentially about geopolitics, the future shape of global finance.
Definitely something to mull over as you keep learning about this fast-paced, always changing world. Until our next deep dive, keep exploring.